right, folks, around 70% of all HBCU students rely on federal grants and work-study programs to finance their education, but it also matters when it comes to HBCUs that alumni actually give back to the university. Well, Florida A&M, the alumni have their national convention taking place here in the area, but one of the problems is that HBCU giving by alumni is extremely low. Let's talk about that right now with the national president, folks, of the Florida A&M University National Alumni Association, Lieutenant Colonel Gregory Clark. So, Lieutenant Clark, I got to ask you this here on this whole issue in terms of giving. And look, I didn't go to HBCU, but I've advocated HBCUs on this show. I've spoken at numerous commencements on college campuses, and I say it all the time. I don't want to hear people talk about going back to homecoming if they're not leaving a check for the university.
I agree, Roland. I think we have an obligation to give. Certainly, HBCUs take us in, they educate us, and they send us out into the world. But for some reason, once we get out into the world, we kind of forget where we come from. So we have an obligation. We should give back, especially those that have gotten scholarships from the university. They owe the university to give back and support it, and we just haven't been doing it. We got to do a great job.
And look, I understand when folks talk about African Americans don't have the same access to capital as whites. When you talk about college graduates, the unemployment rate for black college graduates is double that of white college graduates. But when we talk about giving, we're not talking about, oh, you're asking every graduate to give $5,000 or $1,000.
Right.
It's the people who don't even send back $1.
Hello.
Not even $1.
Right, right. And they don't do it. Taking point, we'd come to homecoming and we'd pay Delta Airlines to come in, whatever that costs. We'd pay the hotel, we eat, drink, we party, but we don't leave a check with the university and we go back home and think it's okay. That's unacceptable. And we got to do a better job of giving back.
Now, the Florida A&M alumni raised $715,000 at your convention. That begins today in Baltimore. And so, but what is the percentage at Florida A&M of giving? When I had the president of Howard University on, he told me that when he came in, of the undergraduate graduates, about only a little more than 3% actually gave back. They now have the number up to 10%. And so any idea, what's the number at Florida A&M?
We're around 5%, and that's unacceptable for us. We got to do a better job. We're trying to push the narrative that you got to give, and we're putting some pieces in place within the Alumni Association to ensure we can get those giving rates up. Like I said, last year we did raise $715,000 at our national convention fundraising breakfast. We're going to try to do the same thing and better that on Saturday. But we've got to get better than 5%.
Julian Malveaux, your president emerita of Bennett College, they are facing a serious problem right now. I've gotten different people saying, look, university potentially could close its doors. I mean, you get those emails all the time. Yeah. But look, you had to deal with that in terms of trying to raise money.
I called you one time.
Yeah, you did.
Put it on the radio.
All of a sudden she's like, hey, I need $30,000 in like a week to keep some students in college, put on the radio show. And again, I mean, how hard was it for you challenging people, graduates, to say, can you give $5?
Roland, the extent to which we have indifference, people will come and party, they'll come to alumni weekend, they'll spend all that money, but they won't give. Now, Bennett is better than many. We have about a 33% alumni giving rate. And the Hampton, Morehouse, Spelman, Tuskegee are among those that have over 30, and in a couple cases over 40%. But all too often, our people don't give back. And it's not, like you said, you don't have to give me 10 grand if you don't have 10 grand. But when I go to a foundation and say, I have an 80% alumni giving rate, that foundation says your alums believe in you. Right. And that's the thing. When you go in with 30%, well, what's wrong with the other 60, 70%?
And Lieutenant, that's the real issue there when it comes to corporate giving and the foundations. They're going to say, if the people who went there don't give, why should I?
Exactly. The giving rates have got to be up there. That's going to help us drive in those corporate dollars. and it's going to show the corporations that we do care about our institutions, and we just got to do a better job of it, Roland.
And I'll tell you,
You know, Roland, this is the last
gasp.
gasp. This is a last gasp for black education because we have so much racism. We saw this young brother killed. You know, so here's the deal: if you didn't go to an HBCU, adopt one and give to it, because this is where people have discretion. We can let your no good nephew in the school to get his act together in a semester.
Well, I'll tell you this here, and literally before the Bill Cosby allegations came back to life, I got a call from him where he was trying to rally a significant number of celebrities to do these giving days for HBCUs, and never came to fruition. But the reality is this here, anybody watching, I don't care who you are listening, you can send $10 a month.
To
Exactly.
You can send $100. You can send $5. But if you're not sending jack, take your damn university letters off because you're embarrassing the university.
Amen.
Lieutenant Clark, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.